Hey everybody, another video topic here today, which I think I'm going to enjoy talking about, but I'm a little biased because of course I do come up with these topics myself. Um, but what's kind of funny is I just go about my day and either something will hit me or I'll be like, man, I really want to talk about that and make a video on that. And I'll just end up writing it down. So I have this massive list of topics to hopefully make a video on here shortly. But as you probably saw by the title and the thumbnail, I wanted just to talk a little bit more about being a night owl and my kind of story with that and what I've kind of discovered recently about being a night owl. And I saw this really cool TikTok, and man, I could make a million videos about TikTok. But there's some really actually good stuff on TikTok if your algorithm isn't screwed up. So I actually enjoy TikTok because my algorithm's really good. But in that TikTok, somebody described it, the person who made it described it so perfectly. And I've never heard somebody describe being a night owl like this. Is we're so used to, and we're so, like, you could say addicted. In my life, I was so used to having so much free time. And being introverted, I really enjoyed the nighttime because it was quiet. There wasn't anything to do. Nobody was up making noise. People were asleep. And I felt like I could finally just be myself and have some time to think. But in this TikTok, they talked about having your free time and never wanting that free time to end. And I never had somebody put it like that. It's like, wow, when I reflect on being a night owl, never going to bed when I should, I'm staying up till like 1 o'clock. When I have work the next morning, of course, it would get worse. If I had school or other things that weren't as important, I would stay up later. But I never go to bed when I should. And I think it does come down to, wow, I don't want my free time to end. Because when I go to bed, and when you go to bed, your free time is over. Of course, you sleep and then you wake up and then you got to do it all over again. Whatever you have to tackle that day, you do it, right? And so that the night before is essentially your last bit of free time before you go to bed and start your day over again. And I had never I never really thought about it like that. I just thought I always just loved staying up late. And I was also never a morning guy. And I'm sure some of you can relate to that. There are also people, like my wife, for example, loves the mornings. She goes to sleep early. She wakes up early. And when she wakes up, she just gets out of bed and starts her day, which is phenomenal. I wish I could do that, but that is not the case. And so being a night owl, while it does, and in my opinion, have its disadvantages, I think also it has its advantages. And just from my experience being a night owl, I could always get some really good work done at night. And I'm not saying like super deep work, like, doing my actual job at night or anything like that. But I always felt like I had a lot more energy at night. And I think it's just because everybody had gone to bed and I had all this free time to do kind of whatever I wanted to do. And it was kind of freeing in a way. And, looking back on that, well, of course, staying up too late was never one of my best decisions. I was able to get a lot of things done, whether it's, working on these YouTube videos or in the past doing schoolwork later at night. I was always able to focus pretty well. And nowadays in our culture, these weird fitness influencers getting up at like 4 a.m. And I'm sure you guys have seen the memes on those people. But I'm kind of in the viewpoint. It might be the minority that it doesn't really matter when you start your day. What matters is how much work you can get done in that day. So, for example, when I graduated college in 2019. There was a period of time where I was unemployed for like 3 months, just trying to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And my sleep schedule got so bad that, I was going to bed at like 6 a.m. and waking up at like 1, 2 in the afternoon, which I tried my best not to let it get that bad, but it did. And I've heard this from other YouTubers. It's just like you can't do anything about it. Your body just doesn't want to go to bed because you don't have anything to wake up for the next morning. Like you don't have to go to work. And so my sleep schedule got so bad during that time period that I was basically staying up till the sun came up and then sleeping until, the early afternoon, which not healthy at all. But now, of course, I wasn't doing any work. Like I wasn't like working on my own job or like a project or anything. But what I would have been able to do personally is if I would have started work, let's say around 2 p.m., I could have worked until 10 p.m. That could have been my 8-hour shift. And believe it or not, I actually did get a job at a warehouse while I was still looking for like a real job, that I started my shift at like 3:30, 4 o'clock and didn't end until sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning. And so, there was my 8 hours right there. And some people want to get their work done right away. They'd rather be in the office at 7 a.m. and get out at 3:34, right? And so there's no good or bad at all. It's really more about what point in the day can you get your best work done. Now, of course, things to consider. You do have your responsibilities. Like, I can't get up. I can't get up at 2 in the afternoon anymore. And honestly, for my own mental health, it's good that I don't do that anymore. But I still am a night owl. I still love the nighttime. I love the quiet. I love the stillness. And I haven't done any insane research into this. And I would be interested to see if it's more of an introverted thing to be a night owl or an extroverted thing to be a night owl. But I don't know. And so this is maybe just who I am as a person, just loving my free time and loving the night. But also at the same time, I'm not somebody who goes out and parties, not somebody that goes to the bars all night. 'Cause I don't love that atmosphere. I love the quiet and I love the stillness of the night, not necessarily the nightlife, if that makes sense. And so, I thought this was just an interesting topic because I wonder how many other people are night owls, love the nighttime. And if those people think critically about why they are night owls, is it because they don't want their free time to end? Or is it just because you're doing something? Because there are people that work very late at night and it's just they stay up too late because they're actually doing something important instead of just playing video games or screwing around. So let me know in the comments. I'm curious to hear if you feel like you're a night owl or if you're a morning person. And if you are a night owl, why do you think you are? I would be very curious to hear kind of another perspective on this. But for me, I know that I love the quiet, the stillness. I love my free time at the end of the day. And if I go to bed too early, it's gone. Like my free time is, of course, gone. And I know that might be a weird way of putting it. And if you're hearing this and you're a morning person, it might not make any sense to you. But I think now that there has been this new perspective and I watched that TikTok, I think there's a lot of truth to it. And so anyway, to kind of conclude this video, all of my topics that I'm going to be talking about are going to have some sort of one of my perspectives and just ultimately just try to get people to reflect on certain things in their life. I definitely don't want to come off as like some weird guru or anything. I'm definitely not going to be selling a course or anything. But as a 28-year-old, I still feel like I'm trying to figure out life and kind of still figure out where I fit in the grand scheme of so many different variables in life. And I'm sure a lot of people do as well. And I know there are people out there who kind of are still, I don't want to use the word struggling per se, but I feel like we all are kind of struggling in our own way. So anyway, I'll wrap this up. Let me know in the comments a little bit about your experience, either being a night owl or a morning person, why or why not you feel like you are that way. So I'll talk to you guys later. More topics to come. I got a massive list of topics to talk about. And if there are any other topics you guys are interested in, drop them down in the comments as well. See you later. Peace.